the Heads February update. We're obviously partway through February, but just thought it was important to pass on further news about what's been happening during the spring term. We are actually carrying on to issue the High Flyer to students, and at the time of me recording this, we're just leading up to half term. Students should have brought home in their bag a copy of the February newsletter, and I do hope that parents are managing to find that somewhere at the bottom of the bag, and that you can read some of the detail about the things that I'm going to mention in this blog. PHS TV is actually being quite a success, I think, and we're continually looking to develop that. We do hope that people are accessing information and looking at some of the films that we've managed to make and put onto the PHS TV site. If you have accessed this, you've probably looked at the website also in a little bit of detail. We're really pleased to get feedback about the website. We've worked hard on that over the course of the last couple of years particularly, and we've tried to make it so that it's user-friendly. Not too much detail, but we hope just relevant detail for parents. But I really would like to know if you've tried to access some information from that website and you've not been able to find what you need, please let us know, and we'll try and include some updates there too, as well as on PHS TV. We've had a really busy half term since I spoke to you in my last blog, and in particularly we focused this half term on helping some of our students prepare for the next stages of their lives. Year 13, of course, are having a fairly busy time at the moment because we're just starting to get in some university offers and offers of interviews as well. Many of them have obviously submitted UCAS applications and have aspirations for higher education next September, October. So we're hoping all that's going well, and we're running some mock interviews at the moment to help them prepare for when they're actually called to university. Of course, there are a number of students that are hoping to go into employment after school, and those students are beginning the process of preparing CVs so that they'll be ready when those jobs start to be advertised. Year 11 have been undergoing some interviews for sixth form entry here. We're absolutely delighted that it does look like a good number of our students are going to come back to the sixth form, and once again numbers will be very healthy, and we know that the sixth form will be academically very strong as well. Mr. Dean tells me that he's been very impressed by the amount of preparation that students have put in for those interviews. We hope that people have found the sessions helpful in helping them to decide what subjects they'd like to continue with in years 12 and 13 as they begin an important next phase of life in September. Year 9 have also been busy in that we're just coming to the end of the options process. I hope that parents found the 2 evenings that we've held in school useful. One of those was a general information evening about the kind of subjects that we're offering years 10 and 11, and the other was a very specific parents' evening to talk about the progress of individual children. And we're hoping now that Year 9 are feeling more confident with the choices that they've made. If any parents are still concerned about any choices and want to talk to us, please do get in touch with us, because we recognise that this is a key point for Year 9 and we don't want them making any decisions which will close doors in the future. We have 2 parents' evenings coming up for other year groups during the second half of this term, and just advance notice really for the diary that the Year 8 parents' evening will be on March the 5th, and the Year 7 parents' evening is on March the 27th, which is actually the day just before we finish for the Easter holiday. On both of those evenings I'm going to be holding a parent surgery as usual, which means that I will be available between 4:30 and 5:30 for parents of any year groups that would just like to drop in. If there's anything you want to tell me about the school, be it positive or be it negative, we hope it'll be positive, but if there are things that I need to know, please feel free to drop in and see me during those times, and no appointment will be necessary. At the time of recording this message, we're still on snow alert a little, even though we're building up to the February half-term holiday. It's been quite a difficult half-term with one or two nasty days in terms of the weather, and I'm really grateful to parents who made every effort to get their children to and from school on those difficult days. I know that transport was one of the main issues. I was delighted that we were able to keep the school open, and really will use this opportunity to thank my staff and teachers and support staff who worked so hard to make sure that we didn't have to close the school, and we cleared pathways to make sure there were safe routes around the premises, and we had teachers in teaching lessons as normal. But particular praise should be given really to the students also on those days, because conditions were difficult, and we did have a couple of days where we had to say it's an indoors only lunchtime, and the students were just so sensible and followed the instructions so carefully that we felt confident to have them in school and on site. So well done to all of them for that, and in fact we were so pleased that we did actually manage, when a bit of snow, soft snow came, we did actually manage to have a little bit of snowballing as well. We were quite happy to allow that. It was good fun, I think, for all. If you did have difficulty with transport, and there were some parents who contacted us to say that they couldn't get children into school, and I know there were one or two bus difficulties, if you haven't already done so, please can you make sure that you have let us know that you have authorised and explained that student absence. And we'd also be grateful, please, if you could make sure that the children catch up with any missed work, and that you perhaps nag them to make sure that they do that. We don't want people to get behind at this stage of the year. Been very pleased by the variety of experiences, as always, that are on offer at Poynton High School to enrich the curriculum, and this half-term has been no exception, and we've got some interesting experiences coming up that perhaps just worth me mentioning. The Modern Foreign Languages team, as usual, are organising lots of events that will allow students to attend modern foreign language conferences, or indeed be involved in exchange schemes. Perhaps the one that's coming up most soon upon us is the March trip to Cologne over the Easter holiday. We've actually got our students, a number of students in years 8 and 10 mainly, I think, who are going over to Cologne and Koblenz. And if your child is involved in that, I would ask parents just to remember, please, that there is a parents' meeting about that trip that we really do ask you to make sure you can attend, and that's on February the 26th in the evening at school. That's an important event. We've also got some other trips that you can read about in the newsletter. Ski trip to the USA is a major trip for us next year, and actually that'll be February 2014, so this really is advance notice. But we've already got 30 students who've signed up to come on that trip, and we do need to finalise the numbers pretty quickly. So if you're interested in that one, it's Miss Wooldridge or indeed Mr Wooding that you should pass on your interest to, and I think that's open to students across a wide range of year groups as well. I was pleased this week to welcome back our sixth form students. They've been on a business studies trip to Prague. They've been looking at small businesses, large businesses, in obviously a completely different country and culture, and I know that they found that very valuable too, so some exciting times there. We had also this weekend our year 11 students out on the Silver Duke of Edinburgh Award. That's an award that's really taken off at Poynton High School. We've got groups involved now with both bronze, silver and gold. Obviously the weather's not been brilliant over recent weekends, and I'm very impressed at how resilient the students and the staff have been involved in that, and we're really hopeful that a good number of Year 11s will get their silver awards before too long. This weekend I had the privilege not of being out with the Duke of Edinburgh Orcas, I might say, but actually watching some wonderful football. We found ourselves with 2 Year 7 teams, boys teams and girls teams, five-a-side footballers, representing Cheshire in the area finals at Soccerdome in Trafford. It was something of a first for us, because we'd obviously had to win an awful lot of matches to be chosen to represent our area, and I think it's something of a first to have the boys and the girls from the same school winning their respective district championships and going forward to represent Cheshire. It was a very exciting event, I might say, and it finished with actually Poynton High School winning both the boys and the girls league. And that means that we'll be going on to the national championships now. I think it means that we're probably one of the 8 five-a-side top teams in the country for the age group, and the national championships will take place on the 2nd of March at Derby, and I hope in my next vlog to be reporting a bit more success there, but it really was fantastic. Lots happening as always, as you'll see from the newsletter, in PE and also in performing arts as well. This next half term will be particularly busy as always for dance, drama and music. I'll just give a particular plug to the PHS concerts, which are coming up on the 22nd and 23rd of March, because I know a lot of students are involved in that concert and we get very good audiences indeed. March the 7th is World Book Day, and there will be a lot happening nationally on that day, but lots happening as well locally in Poynton High School, thanks to Miss Walton in the library. We will be taking part in the national competition, which involves pupils designing a book cover, and there's some really good prizes there with a year's worth of free admission to the Merlin attractions, I gather, which we think will interest quite a number of students. But we're also having some things in school. I'll say balloon launch at this stage, and I know Miss Walton wants to pass out some more information on that, so if you're interested, students, please go along to see Miss Walton in the library about that one. But we've got poetry and short story competitions and simple things like quizzes and puzzles as well, so I hope students will get involved. PTA Fair is another very important event coming up in the future. That's going to be the 15th of March here. It's our Easter fair and is always well supported by students and parents. We hope that people will come along to that. And if there are any parents out there that could help us on that night, we really would be very grateful. Any time that you could spare between 4 o'clock and 8:30 in the evening of March the 15th, we could use some help to set up stalls and tombolas and so on. If you do think that you've got any time to spare on that night, even just an hour, please could you get in touch with Mrs. Roper here at school, who's coordinating the help for that event with a few other members of the PTA. Before that Easter fair, however, there's great excitement here about the arrival of Valentine's Day. It is actually an out of uniform day, but very importantly, we're all waiting on receipt of our Valentine's cookies. The India project team here that do wonderful fundraising, and we've been involved with the India project now for many years indeed, are continuing to raise money through baking Valentine's cookies, which they're going to deliver anonymously to people who have admirers, and we're hoping that they're going to do good business. So far they've raised £4,000 this academic year, which is wonderful, and we have plans to go again over to India, send a team over the summer after next. So it's important that we raise a really good sum to make sure that we can do work in the Joy and Bethel homes in India that we have very, very close links with. So there'll be lots of baking going on and lots of people having high expectations, I think, of Valentine cookies deliveries. And in fact, this probably means it's a sensible time for me to bring this video blog, I think, to a close, because I shall need to go and clear a particularly big space, I think, on my desk, because I am expecting a lot of cookies to be arriving on February the 14th. And I do think optimism is the most wonderful trait in a head teacher. So we'll update this blog in March. Thank you.